Hello my friends, my name is Dragonheart the Prince of Wales and welcome to a OBS tutorial video on YouTube. Today I'll be going through OBS and Reaper and how you can use the two programs to get better audio for your content creation needs. So what you're going to do, I'm going to show you a page by here. There'll be two links in the description below. Reaper RIA plugins and Reaper audio production. So basically Reaper RIA plugins have these VST files. You have a 32-bit and a 64-bit down by here. You're going to probably download the 64-bit. I'm not sure whether the 32-bit would be needed for most versions of Windows, but 64-bit should be fine. So you go through that process, you download it, and you get plugins. I bring up my OBS onto this monitor by here. You'll see I've got, if I put that full screen so you can just see it better, display capture by here. So if I go to filters on OBS, you'll see I've got Compressor, Equalizer, and Noise Gate. They're the three you're going to be using, and you'll have a different sort of menu than what you'd usually get with the plugins. VST plugins, they pop up on here. So to do a brand new one, you would do plus, you would then do VST plugin on by here. You click on that, and then you'd name it whatever you want to, and then after naming it, you get this menu by here, and then you pick whatever you need to pick. So, for example, this is the Noise Gate repeater. So RIA gate is going to be what you're obviously going to go for. For Equalizer, it's going to be RIA EQ, and then for Compressor, it's going to be RIA Comp. So that's how you get that's what the first link does. So just to recap quickly, RIA plugins, download RIA plugins. You're then going to go into OBS. You're going to set up a new VST plugin. You're going to set that up. You're going to name it. So for the sake of argument, I'll just name this Compressor 2. Click OK. It gives you this menu, then you click on it and you find the Compressor RIA Comp by here, and that's what you would do to get it. I'm going to delete mine because I don't need mine. I've already got 3 on, which I'm going to go through in a sec. But that's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to get the plugins and you're going to put them all on here. We'll start off with the plugins. We'll go with the Noise Gate repeater. So if I bring up the Noise Gate Reaper, rather, not repeater. Sorry about that. This is what it looks like currently. When I speak, you'll see my noise, my voice goes up on the right-hand side, and there's also some information here. If I don't speak, though, you'll see how it just falls away, and it's sort of drifting around about by here. So basically, anything where you speak and it goes sort of above the option where you put it is sort of the audio which you're going to hear. Anything below this, like your fans, your computer, background noise, perhaps from outside or next door or something, you want to try and eliminate that as best as you can. Best thing to do is to click on your mouse a few times. I don't know if you heard that, but I just clicked the mouse a few times and it's going around about by here. You're going to want to set it to about that. You can obviously press the keys on your keyboard, perhaps run a program in the background. And what you're trying to do, you're trying to work out where the sound sort of sits in your room. So the average sound, where does it sit? And then mine's around about by here. I tried to test this out yesterday while I was playing a game on my computer. I had OBS up as well. I had the computer doing a couple of things at once, putting under a little bit of strenuous work, and then it was around about this sort of mark. And I thought, right, around about by here. But you can slide this up and it can go all the way down by here, and all that background noise will then come through. So we're just going to put it to, what was it, for 29 per day, and that's what you would set things up on here. As far as the other options go, there's only really two you need to look at: attack and hold. Attack is the amount of milliseconds before the gate sort of opens up. Basically, 1 millisecond should be fine. It's on 3 for default, but 1 should be okay for you. For hold, around about 200 or so milliseconds is usually fair enough. You can tweak this as you go along. The best thing to do is just to start off with a setting, so drop it down here somewhere, play around with these, do a test recording, see how that comes out, see what the background noise is like, and then tweak accordingly. Perhaps drop it down a bit, drop it up a bit, and the same for attack and hold. But I find that this sort of setting for me works. But of course, we all got different sounding voices, we all work in different environments on our computers. It's going to vary for all of you. But that's what you're going to be doing for this by here. If I just drop that off by there. Next thing I'm going to show you, if I minimize out of OBS, it's going to be Reaper. So you download Reaper. You go through, yes, whatever, and install it. So you install Reaper. I've got it installed here. By the way, this background here is from a program called Wallpaper Engine, which you can get off Steam. If you want me to show you a tutorial on that as well to get these kind of backgrounds, then by all means let me know, and I will do that for you. So bring up Reaper, going to open it up, and you get this page that pops up on Reaper. It says Reaper is not free. It's paid software, blah, blah, blah. You can use it for more than 60 days, and then after a few seconds, you'll see it says still evaluated. So it gives you sort of 60 days or so. I've had it for a day so far. I did a fresh install recently for the purpose of this video. And then after that, then it'll ask you to purchase the product, like most software like Adobe and stuff like that, after a certain amount of time. But you can just click still evaluating. You don't need to buy it to do this. You just need the free software from it. So click still evaluating. And the first thing you're going to want to do when you have Reaper set up is, if I can find it, is it options? Yeah, options, preferences. And when you've got your input and your output, your input's going to be your microphone. So mine's USB microphone. You can see I've got a few different things on here. USB microphone should be fine. Output is where your sound goes to. So it does come through your speakers, it's coming through your motherboard, that sort of thing. Speakers should be fine for me, but of course it depends from whatever your setup is. They're the two things you're going to have to set up before you do anything on Reaper. Click OK once you are happy. And this is the sort of page you'll be sort of greeted with. So the things you're going to want to do here, if I can remember from muscle memory, let's see, I think we want... Okay, so what I did there, I've just worked out, sorry about that, I had a moment where I couldn't remember. You right click, you click insert track, it brings up a new fresh track at the top of the screen by here. What you're going to want to do, you're going to want to record arm or disarm. So that sets it up, so now you can see my audio coming through on the microphone by here. Once you see that, you know you're in the right sort of area. You're going to want to have this set up. So it comes up grey, where it's got show track FX video. Click on the FX option by here. It brings up this menu. These will look very familiar. These are the VST files, which you would have just seen at the start of the video. And you're going to want to have rear EQ. So click on rear EQ and click OK. And you're left with this kind of menu by here then. This little menu, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can click on them, or you can just go through the motions by here. Step 1, I find you can just sort of go on to, I think it's high pass, like that. That's usually okay. That is sort of the audio, sort of the bassy bits. So you know, when you start talking, you have very low kind of tones, low mumbles, that sort of thing. It'll just sort of tidy that up a little bit when you're talking at the start of a sentence. And then you got to play around with these. So sound 2, sound 3. They can all sound very different, but we're not going to do that just yet, because what we're going to do, we're going to record a piece of audio that we're going to test this out on, and you'll get a better idea of it. So it's better for me to show you rather than explain at the moment. What I'm going to do, I'm going to record a piece of audio. I'm going to speak for about 10-15 seconds or so and have it recorded on here. So if I just get this set up ready. So in 3, 2, 1, I'm going to read a sentence and then I'll show you what to do next. Hello YouTube, my name is Dragonheart the Prince of Wales and welcome to my channel. Today I will be giving you a tutorial video on how to improve your OBS settings. There we go, I lied, about 6.5 seconds. You've got that piece of audio that I just recorded but there. You can sort of scroll along, etc, etc. What you're going to want to do, you're going to want to sort of shorten it down because you're going to be putting this on repeat, so that'll probably do about there. If you scroll then to the right hand side, left click on the back, bring that back. What you're going to be doing, you're going to be testing out what this actually sounds like. Just get my OBS on the other screen just so I can see what I'm doing over on here, because it does get a bit choppy sometimes. I do have to sort of work out what I'm actually recording. So if I just test this recording first of all. Hello YouTube, my name is Dragonheart the Prince of Wales and welcome to my channel. Today I will be giving you a tutorial video on how to improve your OBS settings. That's what it sounds like. What you're going to be doing, you're going to then be going on to the, you're going to pick on repeat by here, because you're going to want to go over it a few times to check how it's going. You're going to then go on to FX, and like I said, I brought this up earlier, track 1. We've got the rear EQ on here, and you're going to start playing around with the settings. So, for example, if I press play. Hello YouTube, my name is Dragonheart the Prince of Wales, and welcome to my channel. Today, I will be giving you a tutorial video on how to improve your OBS settings. Hello YouTube, my name is Dragonheart the Prince of Wales. I pause that for a second. So what I'm doing, I'm tweaking my settings. 2 and 3 are the most important out of these 4. Like I said, high pass for 1 tends to be okay, but you can play around with that if you want to. 2 and 3, you're basically changing the frequency. So 2, I think, is more of like a bass kind of level thing. 3 tends to be more like your sort of nasally speech. So if you talk and you've got a very nasally kind of voice, you can help sort of reduce that with 3. And you're basically going around, you're going to have it on repeat and play it a few times as you tweak these settings. So number 2, your gain, you want to try and change some of the settings there, and 3, you're going to try and change some of the settings there. So let's see what we can come up with here. If I press play again, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be giving you a tutorial video on how to improve your OBS settings. Hello YouTube, my name is Dragonheart the Prince of Wales, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be giving you a tutorial video on how to improve your OBS settings. That doesn't sound too bad. I find sort of 1 and 2, 3 and 4, it does take a bit of tweaking. I think if I go, I think I actually had this one up to about 4. You don't want to go too far, because if you go too far one way and the other way, it'll sound awful. Hello YouTube, my name is Dragonheart the Prince of Wales, and welcome. Hello YouTube, my name is... You see what I mean? That sounds awful. You don't want to go too far. Generally around about sort of the 4s and 5s tends to be okay. You're sort of tweaking more than anything. I think the one I've actually got is something similar to this. If I bring that down to about there, 2 needs to go back up. That's too far. I tend to go by the philosophy of down, up, and that tends to work for me. But like I said, it does change depending on the individual. Let's try that out. My name is Dragonheart the Prince of Wales, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be giving you a tutorial video on how to improve your OBS settings. My name is Dragonheart the Prince of... Doesn't sound too bad. And 4, I'll just tweak it slightly. I'll bring it up slightly about there, Prince of Wales, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be giving you a tutorial video on how to improve your OBS settings. Prince of Wales, and right, so I'm happy enough with that. So we've got the high pass on 1, we've got band and 8.8 for 2, we've got -7 for 3, and I've got sort of 3.8 for 4. Again though, this is the only reason why you're going to be using Reaper. You can uninstall it once you're happy with this. It helps if you've got 2 monitors, but if not, I'd write it all down. So write down the type, write down the gain on each version on 2, 3, and 4. What we're going to be doing now, if I get my speech out properly, I'm going to be bringing OBS back up. So if I bring OBS up onto this screen, I'm going to be bringing Reaper up, and I'm going to be putting Reaper over on my other monitor, just so I can go between the two. And what you're going to be doing, you're going to be going into your audio filters. And if I do a brand new equalizer by here for you, I went through noise gate, but we'll go and do a new one. So we'll do VS2, or VST2. We'll call this equalizer. I'll just call it EQ, or EQ2. I've got one already set up, which I'm currently using. You go onto the select plugin. You're then going to be looking for rear EQ. And then you're going to click on Open Plugin Interface. And this will look very familiar. It's exactly the same thing that we just used. You're going to be copying everything from the one over to the other. So, for example, I had high pass on by here, and I had... Did I change the gain on number 1? I think I did. No, I left the gain as it was. That'll be fine like that. 2, so number 2, I had 8.8. You can type these in or you can drag them. I'll put it as 8. I think 8 will be fine. 3. So 3 then was the one which went down. I had that at -7. 6.8 would be close enough. And then 4. 4 doesn't really affect things too much. I don't really know what I'm doing with 4, if I'm being honest. That's one thing which I haven't quite worked out. But the best thing to do is to play around with the settings and work out what you could do. So the equalizer will actually affect sort of how things work in OBS. Once you're happy with the setup, all you got to do is click the red X, click the X, you leave it as it is. As long as you've got it as the eye icon. So if it's grayed out like noise suppression and gain that I used to have on here, they won't work. As long as you've got that on, it'll be fine. So you bring it back up, you bring open up, and all the settings stay exactly the same, and that will help you going forward. I'm going to take mine off because mine are obviously set up on my own equalizer by here. Just for comparison's sake, this is my own equalizer. So I've left everything as it is on 1, by the way, I used high pass, obviously. 2, I had 4.4. 3, I had -6.5. And 4, I had 3.9. So it wasn't far out. And I found this tends to work quite well for me. But of course, different people are going to have different sounding voices, microphone settings, etc. So it will vary depending on each thing. So last and not means least, it is the compressor. So I'm going to do a brand new one for you here. Actually, I'll open up my own to sort of show you what we've got. So you're going to be clicking VS to rear comp standalone. Rear comp standalone. So noise gate, rear gate, equalizer, rear EQ, compressor, rear comp. We're going to click open plugin interface, and this is what I've currently got. So I've got everything pretty much the same here. But what a compressor does is when you're shouting and you sometimes reacting, if you're like doing gameplay and stuff, you scream, you shout, you maybe playing a horror game, that sort of thing. It can drown and hurt people's ears out. You know, it can really affect people in a video, and yeah, people don't want to sort of have that in video, so it tidies that up a little bit. Anything, so if I speak quite loudly right now, you'll see that my compressor is shooting across by here. So my ratio, as you can see, is 6.2. So that means that anything at 6.2, it will drown out and make it sort of better for the ears. If I shout over 6.2, like I had 9.7 then, that will probably hurt the eardrum, so I do apologize about that. So if I come out of this and do a brand new one for you guys, because it's going to be easier to do a brand new one. So we're going to go VS2 again. I'm just going to call this comp 2, compressor 2. So we're going to go on to rear comp standalone and open plugin interface. And it brings up this screen by here. I'm going to move my OBS across there. Get a bit fiddly with my screen sometimes. There we go. Hopefully you can all see that properly. So this is the rear... Did I actually show up on OBS? I've actually got this the wrong way around. I'm like, let me just minimize regular OBS. Okay. Apologies about this, guys. Just give me a second. Right, that's better, isn't it? I got two monitors on the go and I wasn't like looking where I was going properly. So this is what you have here. This is the base level rear comp compressor when it comes up. If I start shouting, you can see that I'm struggling to hit where I need to hit. You need to bring this down, and this basically kicks the compressor into gear on the left hand side. So when you start talking quite loudly, which is where I am right now roughly, that should be okay, but you want the compressor to work as well, so you need to bring this across. So think of it as 100% on the right and then minuses on the left by here. So if I end up shouting and it goes beyond sort of this sort of level here, you're going to want to increase things on this side. So if I bring this to, I don't know, 6 or 5, that's the compressor working right now, but that doesn't look too good. So if I bring that down, well, there maybe, that should be better. It does take a little bit of tweaking. You want to have it so that you're shouting to around about sort of the yellow and oranges around about here. If you do talk quite loudly, which I'm doing right now, I'm talking quite loudly. And you want it so a little bit of it comes up the top by here, but you're not going beyond your 5.3. So basically, you get your level by here, you talk quite loudly, you get your level on the left hand side. So 16, 19 tends to work that kind of area there. Right hand side, get your sort of speech level yellow or orange round about there. And then you want to have a little bit of spillover on the left hand side and give yourself a ratio to work with. I think the rule of thumb would be to go with like a 4. So 4.2 should be okay. If I got 0.9 or 1.3, that's when the compressor kicks into action. So whenever I'm shouting or talking quite loud, like now, and it's going on to this part of the screen by here, that shows that the compressor's kicking into gear. If I'm talking normally like this, obviously the compressor isn't being used because it's not actually going on to this part. But when I talk like this, the compressor is getting kicked into gear. But if I was to go beyond 2.5 right now, or 1.2 or 2.3, then the compressor kicks into gear. If I have that down by there, and I start talking loudly, the compressor doesn't work. So you need to have it sort of 4, 4.2, 4.5 to start off with. Get your threshold down by here. 20 might be okay, actually. Yeah, because I've got a little bit on there, 3.4. Actually, I want to go a bit higher than that. 17, yeah. And that seems to be okay. So then I talk like this. I've got my level on the left. I've got my voice on the right. And then I've got my sort of overspill, as I call it, for when the compressor needs to kick into gear. So I've given myself 4.2 over the amount of decibels. And that should be okay. So quick recap. That's what compressor does. So I bring that off there. And I bring myself back on the screen. Hello, welcome. I'm going to actually delete this compressor. I'll minimize it for now. So, noise gate. Open plug-in interface rear gate. You have your sort of attack and hold. Very similar to OBS, but I find you've got a few more options to play with here. Silent room. let the sort of sound just build up naturally in the room, see where your sort of level is, maybe do a couple of things on the computer, tap the keyboard a few times, click the mouse a few times, and work out roughly where, you know, what your sort of level is of the sound, and then you go into drop it down to the left hand side. You get your attack. 1 tends to be okay, 3 is what is default, and hold around about 200 or so. Tweak the settings accordingly. Best thing to do is do a few test recordings, maybe do like 2 or 3, save them on like your desktop or something, play them back, find out which one sounded better, write down the settings, and go back and do it again. So that's the Noise Gate Reaper. Equalizer, again, rear EQ, open plugin interface. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to want to use Reaper to configure these. I've gone up, down. I've gone, sorry, down, up as far as my 4 settings go, but it will vary depending on who you are, how you sound. Some of us have very deep voices, some of us have very squeaky voices, very nasally voices, different accents. It all plays a part, so best thing to do is to test it in Reaper, see how you do. Some of them sound good and bad with the gain. You've got to work that out and then plot it on here accordingly, 1, 2, 3, 4, until you get a sound which sounds quite nice. And then finally, we've got Compressor, which I just showed you there. So open plugin interface. Rear comp is the plugin. You go on that, and then you find your level. You start shouting and talking quite loud, and you work out your spillover, and you put that on the screen with there. None of this is perfect. You have to sort of take your time with each one and be quite dedicated to working out what you want to do, going back again, trying to work more settings out. And it can be a bit of a long-winded process, but the best thing to do is to write your findings down, test it out, and go forward from there. One final note, you'll probably notice I've got noise suppression. I used to use noise suppression all the time, especially when I had background noise. And noise suppression does reduce the overall sound of background noise. It suppresses quite a lot. But what I find is your audio tends to spike quite a lot when you use it. I have found recently that using Noise Gate Reaper, Equalizer, and Compressor in conjunction with each other, the 3 of them working together well, I don't really have much background noise now. I get the odd squeak on my chair and that's about it, whereas before any movement on my chair was getting picked up. My fans were getting picked up on my PC behind me. I would get the birds chirping outside and that would filter into my recording. So having Noise Gate Reaper, Equalizer, and Compressor has definitely worked wonders since incorporating them into this. You can use noise suppression if you want to, but it is it's entirely up to you. Also, one other final point, got lots of final points here. When you go to sound, to bring up my sound menu here, there we go. Stick it over my face, don't want to see my ugly mug. Recording, got your default microphone. I've set my levels to 80. Around about 70 or 80 tends to work best with this, so I wouldn't have it on 100% because again, you'll get more spiking. Drop it down to 70, 75, 80. Go from there. If you want to bring it up a little bit or bring it down a little bit, up to you. But that should hopefully work well. Hope this video has been very helpful to all of you. If it has, it'd mean a lot to me if you could drop a like on the video. And like I said, if you want me to do a video on this by here, the backgrounds, as you can see, I got the Night's King and the undead dragon Viserion in Game of Thrones. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. I'll do a tutorial on Wallpaper Engine as well if you want to. I've been Dragonheart. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.